Assalamu alaikum students. Now after having the concept of function, limit of function, now the important issue which we have to understand and on which our maximum physics is going to depend, that is a differentiation, as well as then it will be integration after it. But whatever is in our syllabus, first to whatever is the process of differentiation, it is simply a definition of process, the method by which we calculate differential coefficient of a function, a derivative of a function. What do you mean by derivative or differential coefficient? We have to. I will make you. I will show out the method, and then you will understand. Actually, if we are having a function y is equal to 2x plus 1 or something else, if there is a change in this very independent variable, then there is change in the dependent. If we are going to change it slowly, small increments, then it will be getting the small increase. If we are going to give it big increments, it will be having the big increase. How much small increment we are going to give to this very independent variable so that there will be change in the dependent variable. We are calculating the change. How much this very y, how much y is going to change when we are going to change x, and that is called as what? Differentiation. How much change is going to come in this very y once we are going to bring change in this very x, that is called as differentiation or derivative of a function. For this very purpose we are having first in our uh, syllabus, that is differentiation by first principle method or ab initio method. For what we have to do, let's take some function y equals to x plus 2. I will take this function and I will put it first. It is some 6-step process. Then what we have to write? We have to write giving small increments on both sides. That is delta x. This is known as delta x to x and delta y to y. As usual, if we are going to change the x, so the change given to x will be in terms of x, and that's delta x. And for example, if we are having sometimes a function, this is the productivity and this is the gain in the sum. So we will increase the productivity, we will gain this very sum. If there is decrease in the productivity, there will be decrease in this very y. So once we have to give a small increase, once the productivity increases smallly, so we will use delta x for that very small. Delta x means small change in this very, and delta y means small change in this very y. We can't use here uh, delta x, delta z for y. For similar quantity we have to use a similar thing. So what will become? Y will now become as y plus delta y, because there will be smaller change in the y, that's delta y. Once x is increased, is given a small change, delta x. And as 2 is constant, we have read variable and constant, there will not be any change. It's so now what we have to find it out? We have to find out delta y, because we have to see how much change is in this very independent variable. That is delta y equals to x plus delta x plus 2, and this very y goes on this very side, will become as minus y. So now delta y equals to x plus delta x plus 2 minus, from equation first y is x plus 2, but it's minus x minus, it will be minus x minus 2. Is it so? I think this x leaves with this x, this 2 leaves with this 2, so delta y equals to delta x. Now after this what we have to do, there is another dividing both sides by delta x. Why delta x? Because we have to see change in y with respect to x. How much once we are going to bring change in x, then there will be change in the y. So uh, whosoever is the independent variable, we have to divide it by that. So it will be delta y by delta x equals to delta x by delta x, which equals to 1, and here it will be delta y by delta x. As the increments working, those are very very small, then we have to write an as increments are very small, so take limits on both sides. Once we will take limits on both sides, it will become as we have to write a limit of delta x tends to 0. When the limit is very very small, it will tend to 0. Limit of delta x tends to 0, del y by del x equals to limit of delta x tends to 0. Here it's only 1. But this very quantity in physics is written as dy by dx. dy by dx, as there is no delta x, then it will be simply 1. So this is read as like this: change in y with respect to change in x, d by d by dx of, instead of y, what was our function? That was x plus 2. So once we have gone for a differentiation of x plus 2, the function itself gets an answer of what? This is the differentiation of x plus 2. So this is change in y with respect to change in x. So d by dx, instead of y, the function which we are having, that's x plus 2, that comes out to be equal to 1. So from this we can conclude how we are going to solve the differentiation of question, and this very type is called as the ab initio method or first principle method. I will be with another lecture. Till then, Allah Hafiz.